Uncut edition. Say it just how you feel it.
No filters, no fluff, just real talk with the full Flashpoint fam. Get with it.
From hot takes to belly laughs, the crew is locked in and ready.
From debates that might get a little spicy, including all VIP members.
This is where vibes meets voice, jokes meets truth, and we talk things.
We are here to get real.
It's raw, it's real, and it's about time.
But big conversation. This is Flash Talks, the Uncut edition. Flash Farm. What are the things then now? Real people, real voices, real conversations.
Flash Talk, the Uncut edition, at 7 p.m. every Thursday, right here on Flashpoint.
On this episode of Flash the Uncut edition, we pause for a moment of reflection.
Edition, where we don't dodge the real questions, we run towards them with holy boldness and a little sanctified spice. Tonight's topic, it's not just hot, it's healing and maybe a little humbling. You know what I mean? So we're asking, is chivalry dead? And if it is, who killed it? Was it culture? Was it trauma? Was it TikTok? Or was it you? Now let's break it down. Chivalry, it's not just about opening doors or pulling out chairs, right? It's about honor. It's about respect, selflessness, strength, right? And it's about loving like Jesus loved, with intention, protection, and grace. But in 2025, Flash Fam, guess what's happening now? Some think that chivalry is just for simpletons, right? Some think that it is controlling. And the truth is, some people just forgot that it existed. Can you imagine? Now, to get the public's opinion, a questionnaire was sent to get their feedback. And I must say that I am truly grateful for the outpouring of the feedback that we got. Now, I am not able to read all of the comments, but I must tell you that I was truly intrigued. Now, here we go. 62.2% of the participants were women, and 34.8% were men. Now, the majority of the respondents were married, 23.9% single, and 15.2% are actually in a relationship. The majority, which is 67.4%, actually, and you know, I was pleasantly surprised by this. 67.4% actually believe that chivalry is not dead. 13% believe that it is dead, and equally 13% are just not sure. Now, 80.4% of the participants do believe that women still expect men to be chivalrous. 80, can you imagine? A whopping 80.4. And I know we're going to talk about feminism and all of that, right? But in this age, 80.4%? Wow. Now, participants were asked what chivalry actually means to them. And these were just some of the definitions that I got. Again, I didn't get to take everybody's, but I did read them all. So, one definition, taking steps to actively execute ease for females as much as you can. Another definition, chivalry is when a man shows strength, not by dominance, but through kindness. Another person said, just being a gentleman. And one person said, hey, there are no set expectations, right? Another person said, chivalry means showing respect and care through action, not just words. Another said, listen, it's just common courtesy to women. That's it. Someone else said, honesty, kindness, doing things without being asked. And that's just consideration, right? Having and display good manners and conduct. Another person said, hey, chivalry is all about acts of kindness. And it went on. Here is the part now. I'm wondering if Mikey did the questionnaire. Here is it now. Do you think modern feminism has influenced how men perceive chivalry towards women? Now, hear this now. 69.9 or 0.6% say, hey, yes, in a negative way. Feminism has negatively influenced how men, and Mikey's raising his hand over there. He has been preaching this. Ellie, what did we do? Did we set up ourselves? Now, the question is chivalry dead? And if it is, what should be used to replace it? And I found this answer quite funny. The person said, hey, listen, what should replace chivalry if it's dead? Fish and bammy. Just give me a plate of fish and bammy and you can go with your chivalry. The person went on to say, you know what, in all seriousness, I don't know what should replace it, but hey, I want some fish and bammy. All right, fair enough. Another person said, it should not be replaced. It should be revived and respected. Someone else said, I don't believe it's dead enough, but selfishness is looking to replace the me first kind of thinking, right? Here's another one. I did think whether or not I should read it, but I'm going to go ahead. This person said, and Mikey, don't react over there. You hear me? Let me wire it from now. This person said, those who killed chivalry must fend for themselves. Those feminists and those red-eye gold diggers should fend for themselves because they killed it. It shouldn't be replaced. Let them go fend for themselves. Also, someone else said, people who are vying to fit into the roles of the opposite sex, hey, listen, go take it. You can go replace it, right? You want to act like a man? Well, go take it. Someone else said, respect for all, but males should still be dominant and responsible. And the last comment I will read, someone said, hey, nothing can replace it. Feminists got what they asked for. Hey, all right. Why they hit us hard tonight? Well, am I a part of the feminist movement? I don't even know. Anyway, we're moving on. So there you have it, Flash Fam. We heard from the public. So tonight we're digging into it. This ain't our typical relationship convo. No, it's not. This is Flash style. It is unfiltered, unashamed, and unapologetic. Now, we have a panel tonight, and guess what? They are truth tellers, vibe holders, and hot take droppers. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to fix our mic. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Listen, like up the thing now. Press that like button. We'll be right back.
Help to produce your podcast? Flashpoint Media makes it very easy. We can relieve you of the headache by recording your podcast for you. So, take the first step to getting your content to your desired audience. Contact us here at Flashpoint and your podcast will be live in no time. Our website is www.flashpointmedia.ky or call us at 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Welcome back. We've got some Flash Fam and friends joining us tonight. And I must tell you that they are truth tellers. I know them to be vibe holders. And I also know them to be hot take droppers. As a matter of fact, one of our Flash Fam, she believes that chivalry is dead. Not only is it dead, but it is so dead that it is buried. Not only is it dead and buried, but she wrote an arbitrary. Did I say that word right, Maria? I don't think I did. But you know what I mean, right? Obituary. So we're going to take a look at what was written, because she actually believes that chivalry is dead and buried. Here we go.
On this episode of Flash Talks, the Uncut edition, we pause for a moment of reflection as we explore the question, is chivalry dead? We bring you this special obituary, not for a person, but for a principle, one that once stood tall in the hearts of many. We gather here to mourn the slow and silent passing of chivalry. Born in the age of knights and noble oaths, chivalry once lived with honor, courage, respect, and selfless service. It held doors open, not just literally, but metaphorically, for dignity, protection, and grace. It whispered in the ears of gentlemen to rise when a lady entered the room and reminded them to value strength not as domination but as service. Chivalry thrived in times when love letters were penned by hand, when walking on the side meant shielding another from harm, and when one's word was their bond. But over the years, chivalry began to fade. Misunderstood, mislabeled, and sometimes mistaken for weakness or patronizing behavior, it found itself wandering without a home in a world speeding toward convenience over courtesy, independence over interdependence, and digital likes over human connection. Was it outdated, Or did we fail to evolve it with the times? Chivalry is survived by scattered acts of kindness, quiet moments of respect, and those who still believe that dignity and grace are not old fashioned but timeless. So, as we ask tonight, is chivalry dead? Perhaps we really are asking, are we willing to resurrect it? Not as a gendered expectation, but as a universal standard of how we treat one another with honor, with care, and with love. Rest in peace, chivalry, dear chivalry, or better yet, rise again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Flash Talk, the Uncut edition. And Uncut it was. Rest in peace. And it just got hot up in here. Oh my goodness. Now, tonight we're asking the question, is chivalry dead? And if it is, who killed it? For those of our viewers online, we would appreciate your responses. So go ahead and share your thoughts on the video that was just posted, right? And I know that my Flash fam here, I'm getting mixed signals, who agree and who don't agree. But before we begin, I'm going to ask our Flash friends online to introduce themselves, and I'm gonna start with Tastian. And I must say that Tastian is one of my first friends that I've met when I came in the Cayman Islands, and I'm proud to say that we're still friends up until today.
Share the first one.
Yeah, one. Yeah,
yeah.
Tastian, talk up now.
Yes, Connie. Sorry. Hi, everybody. Good night. I am Tastian James. I am here to join you guys on Flashpoint Radio. I'm super excited. I am an author, I'm an accountant, and I am a financial coach here in the United States. So I'm excited just to chip in right here, just to give my 2 cents on this topic because this is juicy. Yes.
Thank you, T. And then we have Mr. Kirk. Come on now, Kirk. Talk to us. And I must say that Kirk is one of those guys, even if you're having a bad day, just having a conversation with him, you are going to smile, right? I don't think I've ever seen Kirk in a bad mood. Never.
Tonight.
Kirk, introduce yourself.
Chivalry.
Introduce myself. From the accent, you can hear that I'm from Barbados. Let me first say that. Lovely. You know, wise men come from the east, and Barbados is the most easterly of all the Caribbean islands. Just want to leave that there with you. To explain myself, what do I do? What do I do for work? I'm an education consultant and a college recruiter. I serve as family ministries leader for my church, and I have a wife and 2 children.
Okay.
So things like these are of great interest to me.
Thank you so much, Sir Kirk. And then we have Sir Michael. I know by now everybody should know Mikey G, but Mikey, I'm going to give you a minute to tell us who you are.
I just want to say good evening. And of course, I'm Mikey G, Flashpoint, Breakfast Hour, and of course, our what you call Yardy Link Up every Thursday on Flashpoint Radio, or that we do a diasporal link up where we have some friends Jamaican everywhere. Alaska is not too far, so we have that kind of thing going on. So that's me, and of course,
thank you. And I see Kirk shaking his head. So even though he's from Barbados, I think he understood it. Yeah. Awesome. And then we have Lady Ellie. Ellie, are you on?
Yes, I am on. I am. Are you seeing me or hearing me?
I'm not seeing you, but I'm hearing you.
Okay.
There you are.
Yes, here I am.
Pink.
Yes.
Nice. You're looking lovely. How was the funeral? After that burial.
Murphy and I said that was chivalry cousin.
A chivalry cousin not a real. It's not. That's not real chivalry.
No,
Oh my
chivalry they're
goodness.
shitty. We'll talk about that a little bit. I don't know. That's the cousin because chivalry of a shetty.
Okay.
Ellie,
And not the new shetty.
Mario, mic is low here.
Ellie,
Yes.
with yourself.
Yes. Oh, so I am Lady Elise, and I am the host of Sensational Sunday and co-host of the Breakfast Hour.
Thank you so much. And then we have
I'm Connie J.E. Yes, yes. Host of Just Before You Go to Bed right here. Flashpoint Media.
Nice. And then we have Lady.
Lady Jenny and everyone, good evening.
All right. And then we have Sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mario. Trying to keep the mic close this evening so I don't.
Don't keep it too close. Don't keep it too close.
I think this evening, Michael, they're going to find out why you and I are friends for so long.
Too close, Mario. The mic too close now. Hold on.
Some of the hard-headedness that we share in common shall probably be on display tonight.
And there is no mango and there's no drink. No tea. Where's the customer service, Ellie?
Ellie. All right. So we're going to get right into it. So our first question, and you know how we do it. We are going to allow our guest to go first. So we're going to start soft. All right? Going to go really soft with you. Tastian, what is your definition of chivalry in this generation? And do you think that it has changed over time?
What is my definition of chivalry in this generation? I think this generation has a whole different definition of as to what chivalry is versus my definition. Because if you ask me, I'm a traditional girl and will forever be a traditional girl. And I say that because I feel like those values and those, principles that we grew up with and we hold on to is what is saving our society today, is what's keeping us. That's what we're hanging on to. So yes, I'm one of those traditional women. So to me, chivalry, even though in our generation it is now being said it's dead, it's not dead. It's not dead. It's just people are not choosing it. And so chivalry really is more than just, like you said earlier, it's more than just opening a door. Chivalry is all about, and it's not just gender-based, meaning like only the man alone can show it. Yes, it is expected because, yes, he's the one opening the door. Yes, he's the one pressing the elevator button for you. Yes, he's the one walking on the outside of the street for you. But at the same time, chivalry, it's just a matter of kindness. It's respect. It's about the man protecting and covering his woman. So it's not about him being, how Jamaicans would say, being a sissy. Oh, you're just being soft, man. No, it's about you. When you're acting that way, then she can lean into that masculinity. She becomes more feminine and softer because now it's like, guess what? He got me. What? He's covering me. He's protecting me. That just tells me that even this little act of kindness with you just opening the door, with you just stepping out of the car and saying, no, sweetie, I got you. Step inside. That tells me you're going to have me in other situations. You're going to have me when other things happen. So chivalry for me is, again, it's more than that, but it's a demonstration of the bigger things. It is going to come up in life when the time comes. You're going to have to protect my family. You're going to have to protect your household. Are you going to be able to do that? Are you going to be willing to step up and do that? That's where I'm thinking when it comes to chivalry. I want to see it in little acts so that I know, yeah, all right, dude, what? You're doing this? Yes. That's a demonstration of what's to come. All right, just a little taste of it. No problem. So, but in this generation, it's just, again, it's not being upheld. So we'll continue to talk about it. But that's just my little piece for now. It's a little piece for now.
I love it. And while I'm gonna pass the baton on to Kirk, and while he's thinking about his response, I saw a video today, just a clip, and I know they intentionally cut off the rest of the clip. So I don't know how many of us watched Think Like a Man. And one of the young ladies, her date came to pick her up. And when he came, he was he drove, so he was still seated and in the driver's seat, and she was supposed to go onto the passenger side, and she said to him, so she stood there, and he was like, you gonna get in? And she was like, no, I am a traditional girl. I'm used to a gentleman coming out the car and opening the car door for me. And he was like, okay, cool, peace. And he drove off. And I'm thinking that was not the whole video, but that's the
That's
part.
me. That's me in the video.
Because I would want to believe that he actually came back, right? But you don't think he did. Kirk, let's hear from you. What's your definition?
No, he did. By the way, he did come back.
He did. Oh, you saw the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did come back.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, it was one of the worst spent 90 minutes of my life watching that movie, but that's another story for another time. The question you asked is the present day definition of chivalry. Putting it very, very shortly, it is female entitlement.
It is female entitlement.
Female entitlement. Okay. There is a set of behaviors, a set of expectations that women have of men without having to provide any kind of reciprocal arrangement. I expect you to open the car door for me simply because I am a woman. I expect you to step in front of something for me simply because I am a woman. I do not expect, you should not expect anything from me being a woman. But chivalry is you putting yourself in harm's way, whether that be mild harm or severe harm for me simply because I am a woman. I'll leave it there. I know there's a lot more to get into.
And I hear you. And again, I don't, sometimes I think our phone is tapped, because while I was trying to prepare for tonight, all these videos kept coming up. And there was this group of men, and one of the gentlemen was saying, hey, I believe that especially on the first date, men should actually pay. And one of the gentlemen said, hey, not me. I believe in financial liberation. And I'm happy we have an accountant here with us tonight. He said, because I believe in financial liberation, everything is half and half. Right? And the men took him on. They were like, no way. You didn't just say that. And he said, but hey, the reality is, when I pay the full bill, what do I get? And I just switched off from that. Yeah, so same thing Kirk said, like, just being a woman is enough. That's it. We expect chivalry. I don't want to pass the mic though, but
yes, pass it to me.
Mario.
Pass it to me. Pass it to me first.
I don't want to pass it to me.
Pass to me first. Pass to me first. Please, let Mario wait first. Let me just say something. Kirk said something. I want to respond.
Be gentle with us tonight.
I am definitely a gentleman tonight. And I'm going to say it in this way. I am a man. I am not normally gentle. By design, I'm not supposed to be. But I become gentle because I want to be. So whoever get me gentle is because you deserve that. But if you don't deserve it, then you won't get it. Now, having said that, I want to say this. I forgot the name of our guest this evening. Let me write it down while she says it again. Your name, ma'am, please, could you remind me of your name? In the US and is
Tasty and like food.
Tasty and like Tasty's Patty. All right, I can't forget. Like Tasty's Patty. All right, Tasty and I want to say this first. And I like when you said traditional woman, right? I love the concept of a traditional woman. I want to go there first. I know Mario have a lot to say, and I'm going to say it quickly. So the concept of traditional woman, once you say that to me, I started thinking about organic foods in the store. Immediately, I think about organic foods yes. I started thinking about organic foods. And so when I started thinking about organic food, I realized that only reason we have organic food is because we have fake foods.
Okay then.
So that's a reason that comes to my mind. And so here I'm arguing the point to say, so I have, so I'm in the store. So I'm in the store. I'm done now. I'm done. Give me a minute. I'm gonna just use it. And so we are, so in the store we have what we call the health food store, health side of the food store. Mm-hmm. So we go to the health section of our food store. It's like the organic section of our food store, right? The healthy side. So are you saying to me the other side of the food store is totally unhealthy food? No, in that sense, I'm going to place that with a woman in the same category. I'm going to leave it there for now. Mario, thank you.
Okay, so in other words, there are women who are organic and there are women who are fake.
GMO. GMO is the politically correct term is GMO.
I don't even know to respond to that.
I got trapped this time. I walked right into that.
Yeah, I better marinate.
Mario.
Chivalry.
Mm-hmm.
I believe a man, a real man, knows his responsibilities to guide and protect those he loves and are under his care. His woman, his children, and in the wider community, anyone who he has influence over. All right?
Okay.
That is what chivalry is to me.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I like how you led softly with that.
Gently, according to Mike.
That's the word. Gently. Not at all.
Are you saying that I wasn't gently enough a while ago?
I like that. Now, talk to me now.
Well, Mike is dummy. And you also do that. The thing is, growing up, my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because mine is like going to be a twofold question and then my thoughts on this. Growing up, my understanding that chivalry was male dominant, right? It was for them. I understood that when we were doing table etiquette, when I was younger, was that if a woman was leaving the table, the men would stand. When we come back to the table, they would stand. It is a show of greeting again, acceptance again, and so forth. And of course, when it came to table manners, there were etiquette that were in place before and back in the day. If it was raining or there was a puddle and the female couldn't cross, the man would use their coat as something for her to go. Not that it was because you remember, because as you said, coming under his influence and his protection, it was his place then to ensure safety. This is where now I go against the feminist movement of today, because I feel that today women want to stand in the place of men. And so the definition for today's generation where chivalry is concerned is that, we share niceties between each other. It has to be reciprocated. So a woman can open the door. But a woman that wants to open the door for another woman is the woman that wants to be a man.
If I am carrying 15 packages for her, she can open the door for me.
No, that's different.
However,
that's different.
In my manliness, I can probably get the door for her as well as carry the 15
that is
packages.
A given, Mario. That's a given.
Let her finish up, Mario.
I can open the door. But I'm talking about just like I'm sitting in the car. Which woman never want to come open the door for me? Unless you want to be my partner, which I'm going to defend that. Open doors, standing when I'm leaving the table or coming back to the table. Even when you were passing a woman, you tipped your hat. It was a greeting without being, because sometimes we can misconstrue words or and so forth, or being flirtatious. Exactly. So tipping your hat was a proper gesture. All of that was chivalry. All of that is male dominant. And you cannot in today, I mean, maybe I got long talking, but we want to get this out. Is that women cannot take the place of men. Chivalry has not died, but it's in a coma.
In a corner.
You understand? This is where I'm not going to cast blame, but I am saying that the onus lies to both male and female in ensuring that chivalry is understood and everybody know them place. So for the women who think that, oh, I want to be recognized, it doesn't matter if you identify as a stone. I'm sorry, Flashpoint. It doesn't matter if you identify as a stone or an alien from somewhere else. If you were born, could I say cut? But it's uncut. It's uncut. So if you're born uncut, you were male. And if you were born cut, you're female. Thank you so much.
All right. Janine.
Oh boy. Good evening, everyone. Again. I'm not even sure where to start.
Mikey, did we go?
No, man.
Rated R just now.
Uncut completely.
Oh boy. But I don't know. Maybe it is that I am a little bit more of the modern type of person. I do somewhat agree with some of the traditional stuff, but at the same time, I'm of the opinion that certain things are it's okay to some extent. Where I'd probably say in terms of like getting the door. So for instance, I'm walking towards a door and there's a male in front of me. Yes, for you to reach the door before me.
If I'm behind you, I'm going to step around you and grab the door.
Come true now.
Well,
I saw real hard work.
You see,
Thank you.
That's right.
Can I get an amen, Mikey G?
Here is what I would agree with as well. However, I will also say, I've had my experience. I remember I was dating a guy, and we decided that we were going to go for lunch, and we got to the place. We went to KFC, and I got to the door. We were both walking side by side. We got to the door at the same time. I reached for the door and opened the door, and he just stood there. And I went into the store and looked behind me and realized that he wasn't there. Like he was still outside.
Good man.
What's up? He's like, come here. So I said, he said, come. So I said, I went back outside. I said, can we not do this now? Yes, I understand. You want to be the gentleman. No problem. And I walked back in the store. Who told me to do that?
I'm so disappointed in you.
The gentleman literally came in the store. We got to the counter and the lady said, hello, may I help you? And he said to the lady, one moment, please. And he held me, took me back outside through the door. Put me to stand up, because he actually lifted me up. Put me to stand up. Close the door. And then he said, you're going to wait until I get the door for you.
Is there? I want to interrupt and ask if he is not dead. Why are you two not married?
You jumped me, Kirk. You jumped me because I was going to.
And the other part of that. Yeah, but the other part of that.
I'm waiting to hear if he is not dead. Why are you two not married?
Well, Kirk.
I'll leave that there.
Kirk, I would say this, if I may.
Circumstances why that didn't.
If I may.
Waited and opened the door for me and waited until I walked. He's like, listen, when you're around me, please let me not ever have to remind you that in circumstances like this, I will do this. This is my role, and I need you to understand that this is what I am here for.
Well done.
It's like, okay. And that is where I started to kind of take a little bit more initiative or understanding that, hey, I should actually allow these men to, feed the man.
So
You realize that we're going somewhere, you know, because chivalry opens the door to so many other underlying things.
Exactly.
And yes, and literally. And one of the the key thing is that I find that women, and it always, whenever you go away from God's blueprint, there is gonna be chaos. And you may think chivalry is just no, our little thing or whatever, but it categorizes our place, and women need to know their place, and men need to know their place as well. And you all can't just sit down because I want to be bold and loud and out there and say, okay, give the women opening door, give the women this and that. No.
I want to say something.
Yeah, man.
I would like to say.
I hear you, Michael, and I'm gonna take you right now. I just want to acknowledge another gentleman in our midst. Thank you so much for joining us, Sir Edgar.
We never want no more man, you know. We want to open up.
Hold on. Let me say this. Thank you. Thank you.
I also want
a real
to.
man, not a weak Batman. A real man.
I'm coming to Mikey, but I want to say one of our honorary Flashpoint fam on YouTube, AJM, she knows herself, right? She says that chivalry means honorable and polite way of behaving, especially by men towards women. I was cultured to believe that this act is to be done by men. And then we have inspiration came in and she said, step aside and let him. But at the same time, during the getting to know you phase, it's important to find out if the man even understands that this is their expectation. And AJM says, that is it, Connie. That is it. Once we step away from God's ideal, there is going to be a problem. Mikey.
All right. So first thing I'm going to go to is training.
Training.
I hear lack of training. I hear lack of purpose and lack of deliberate. This is what I'm hearing. That it is deliberate. All right. So here's where I'm going to go with this. Our generation is like out of control, and everybody is just doing all sort of nonsense. And I would beg to say that I grew up one time too when things was happening, but we were doing that only because we were trained to do these things. Parents grow us up. Now, are we saying then that the parents had to grow these children up, grow them up to do this? Because that's what we must say. Because they didn't become this unless we train them this way. And this is a real statement, and I'm making this to be true because this was a conversation I'm having earlier on today. I grew up in a generation, we all had chaos in our generation, but that was the chaos. This is the chaos now, and it means that. Now I'm saying here we have women who don't even know that they don't want it because it's not. In fact, there are some young ladies now that don't even know what chivalry is. That's the truth. Their mothers didn't teach them. And so tomorrow morning, actually on the breakfast hour, we're going to be having a conversation about the mothers who raise men. And that's what I want to know, right? And so we're going to talk about that for the family segment of it. And so
another conversation.
Like I'm going to be at work.
I know. But what I'm saying is this. I'm finished now. It's to say that there is a deliberate action in play right now. I say, if we are saying, and I'm going to look at the idea of a church basis where the church design. All right, this I don't want to spiritualize what we're doing here. In terms of church doing that. But I want to say, if it is somebody who is raised within the church or in a particular church institution, whichever one, then the Bible says that women should teach the women and children. That's the Bible, you know. I'm not saying nothing else. The Bible says the woman's greatest responsibility is not to be the elder just like the man. It's not to be that or to be the pastor just like the man. It is for her to teach other women how to become wives. And husbands need to be taught too. And guess who teach the husbands? The women. Right? And so this is a great responsibility that is being shunned by our feminist women today. All right? And so this is what we're looking at.
I don't want to say shame my feminist movement.
Leonard, I want to hear you. I want to hear you.
Yeah.
Are you saying then that women should train the children and also train their husbands?
No, train the children. That include boys and girls. That is children overall. And so by training the boy, my mother taught me how to be a good man. And that's my mother's role. She's a teacher. And so that's what I want to level the playing field with. That women have the greatest the greatest responsibility of women is the hands that rock the cradle rules the world. That's a statement. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's it. And tomorrow morning, if you join me, I will share with you a clip and explain this away at another time. All right? But I'm done there.
Thank you.
Before Kirk jump in, let me jump ahead because like a sugar. The reality is that yes, as God outlines, we both have our roles. And women, of course, you teach the children, yes. But when it comes to aspects of these, this is where dad comes in. Because a child or a boy will know how to treat a mother by the way dad treats the mother and vice versa. Because we both have our roles and they're both important. And as a mother, even though I'm a single mom, I, however, cannot teach my son what his father is to teach him or my daughter what her dad has to teach him. So even if I take on a rough persona to mimic a man, I'm still mom.
Yeah.
I'll never be dad. So God knows that we both have our dual roles. Yes, sir.
And this is what I want Kirk to start with. So I get gonna start with our guest. So this next question is gonna go to Kirk and then to Istia. So my question is then, having that discussion, who or what killed chivalry if it is dead?
But with the sense that it's not dead.
Hold on.
Who is trying to kill it?
Who is trying to kill it?
And someone mentioned coma.
Yes,
okay, all right. So it's in a coma.
Life support.
So how can we revive it?
The cousin just died, you know.
The cousin
we
died.
saw the funeral.
So okay. So I want you to tell us.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who put it in the coma or what placed it in the coma?
To answer that, I have to start where I left off. That the definition, and you were very specific with the present day definition of it. And I said the present day definition is female entitlement without the expectation of reciprocating. What exactly are we seeking to revive? Are we seeking to revive men doing things for women without reciprocation? Is that what we are seeking to revive? Or are we seeking to revive the 150-year-old definition of it, where there was an expectation that women were a certain way and men responded to that? Exactly what are we seeking to revive? I'll lean into my sister in the corner with the lovely braids. I cannot remember her name. Tell me really quick, please. Jenny. Cool. No problem. And Nikki, I sent you this is voice note today. I sent you a lot today, actually. Anyhow, I have a son, 6 or 7 years old now. Let's fast forward 20 years. He sees a nice young lady at church. She sees him. They're both interested, and they decide, you know what, we can head over to Commander Bay for some ice cream on Saturday night. Let's explore this interest. We leave home. You have told your daughter that the test of him being a man is putting his life on the line for you. That's what you've told your daughter about my son that has absolutely no connection to her. No connection and no obligation. no connection and no obligation. As a matter of fact, if something happens and he does not respond in the way that you have told her he should, he is branded as less than. She does not leave home with the expectation that she is to do anything for him. The contract between man and woman in marriage is I bring my protection, man, protection, provision, and priestly covering, and you bring your femininity, your warmth, your love, and sex. Right? There is an expectation right out the gate that I will give you what a husband is supposed to give you. So what we are basing our definition on what a man husband is supposed to do for a woman wife. I urge you to look through the Bible and tell me where there is an expectation, a requirement, a command, anything at all for an unmarried man to provide husband services for a woman he is not attached to, and to my brother, the person he is not responsible for, and to a woman who has not submitted herself to him. There is absolutely none.
I put it to you, Kirk. Can I say something? I put it to you, Kirk. The responsibility of the young lady going out with your son to get ice cream is to not put him in a position where he needs to lay down his life for her. To be responsible and respectful. And not go down there and see a girl and say, oh, you know, me and that girl, I can't agree.
It is, you know,
Yeah?
I think we try to write it out in raw sentence. And I don't think we can in this aspect, because if I go out with you, Kirk, I am not umbrellaing it or putting it in writing to say you're going to lay down your life for me, Camilla, while you and I go down a came and a bit of ice cream. But God forbid that we in cinema and earthquake come. I would not expect you to run up the cinema and let me in there.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm
So
saying.
here's the thing
We're
now.
getting back to the expectation.
If I were in there and one boulder, one chair, or one of the screen drop on you, I was taught that
as a woman,
the
you should
care that
expect
we're supposed
me.
to have, that me would have tried to lift it off. If me can't lift it off, me say, hold on, me run go get help and me come back.
That's exactly the
But
point.
I'm not
You were
putting
taught.
the
Sorry,
thing
go ahead.
when I go on a date. It is all right. I'm going on a date with Kirk. I'm putting my life on the line. I wouldn't say that.
You sat in the chair this afternoon. You did not put it in your mind. This chair better hold me up. There was an expectation that when you sat in the chair would hold you up. And that's exactly what I'm saying. We leave home, a pregnant lady gets on the bus. There is an expectation that a man will get up.
Our woman.
I have worked in the sun. It doesn't matter where I have worked. It doesn't matter if I just left home, getting out of my bed, having a lazy morning. You man, get up for this pregnant woman. There is a tacit expectation, an underlying expectation that men will carry the burden for women. There is no corresponding expectation. And please understand, I'm not speaking about a one-to-one reciprocation. Men do not desire the same things of women that women desire of men. But women do not have the expectation. They do not have a responsibility to men the same way there's an expectation of a responsibility from men to women. So whenever we speak about chivalry, we have to define exactly what are we seeking to revive. I put it to you, more often than not, we are seeking to revive an expectation where men have responsibility but no authority.
I'm
So
listening
my
to.
question to you, Kirk, is, and I'm coming to you, Tastian.
Mm-hmm.
If we're walking in Cayman Bay and the gentleman is on the outside of the sidewalk, are we then saying that he is putting his life on the line? Him being on the outside, that's me expecting him to put his life on the line. Would that be an example of your son putting his life on the line?
I cannot remember the name of the lady who said it. Please for forgive me. I'm going to read through this very quickly. Persons alluded to feminism earlier, and I urge all of you to get, if you possibly can, this book is entitled Occult Feminism: Secrets of Women's Liberation. The author, the name of the author is Rachel Wilson. I can provide some details to you later, and you can speak to your persons about it. But this is not the author. This is not the author. The author speaking. What she said headed was this: First wave feminism sought to bring women's rights in line with men's rights. Second wave feminism sought to reduce or eliminate women's responsibilities. And third wave feminism has sought to increase men's responsibilities. We are living in a time where women in general they are simultaneously existing in three states, almost like solid, liquid, and gas. They are equal. They are equal to men. They are superior to men, and at the same time, they're inferior to men and requiring or needing us to protect them.
Yeah.
And at any time, a lady can flow between any of those states of being.
She's
And as a man,
she's got
you
she's a godhead.
And that's what I said earlier. Is that if you
Well, I think Tasty,
That's what I
I
was
think
saying,
Tasty,
Bert.
I think Tasty, I need to
I
respond.
said earlier, if you follow feminism, then the feminism of today for this generation is totally contrary to truth and what the reality should be. Because it doesn't matter what you try. Once God made you male, you are automatically designed and instilled to be the priest, the head of your home. Boom, done. It no matter. A woman,
Do you
you
extend
cannot
that?
be
Do
the
you
head of
extend
your
that?
home.
Do you
You
extend
are
that to
not.
the church as well,
Mind
honey?
you know, for I am the head of my home because I'm a single parent. But if I should unite in marriage, my husband takes that role. I have to relinquish that role because that's what God says. That's the outline already. Even if you may say the man doesn't make more than you or and so forth, he is still the man. Now we know we have some little but when we're talking about chivalry, we're talking about, Kirk says, if we want to take back something, revive something from 150 years ago. The reality is that chivalry was already male dominant, or wherever you want to put it. It's from
Yes,
men to women.
Only.
Because
100% agree.
here's the
Men only.
reality.
Men
Here's
only.
the
Men
reality.
only.
It
100%
was
agree.
for men only.
Men only.
100% agree.
Chivalry is for
That's
men
right.
only.
It
Yeah,
was
that's right.
it's like breathing. It's like
Yeah.
manners.
Yes.
Chivalry is
That's right.
manners. And it is
Yes.
manners for men towards women. Not
Correct.
because um you're thinking, oh, I need to fall in line or I'm a weaker vessel. No. But the fact of the matter is that we are the softer version to them. So
Yes.
harder stuff, the men take. Even if
Yeah.
I pump weight and make a muscle like a so, me still cannot compete in the
Yeah.
male muscle. Same thing, even if you are try. You are
Yeah.
not a man.
But why am
Chivalry
I
is
sorry, go
for
ahead.
men. Women out there, know your place.
I think there's
That
Tistian.
Yeah.
I think Tistian need to speak. I think I need to
Well,
hear
Connie pretty,
Tistian.
Connie pretty much hit the nail on the head because what I was going to say was we can't go wrong if we go back to how it was designed initially. Because from the Bible days, from when God created Adam from day one, sir, you're here, you're taking care of the fields, you're naming these animals, you are dominant, you're the protector. That's your role, sir. What is man? You're a man first before you become a husband. Now it's like, oh, you know what? I got a wife. I got a woman. She's this is what it said, flesh of my flesh, I'm bone of my bone. At the end of the day, it's like, no, I'm giving her to you as a helpmeet. So, regardless of what we're doing, we're noticing society is messed up because we start messing everything up. So now we start to be this whole feminism. And I'm with you 100%, Kirk, when you say we want to be superior, we want to be independent, but at the same time, listen, you better open that door for me just because I'm a woman. We want to be all of it. And that's not how it works. It's like you have to, if you're asking the man to give you chivalry, know your place. You have to know your place as a woman to accept it, embrace it, because the whole point of him doing that, it helps you now to sit in your femininity. That's because we're using the word wrong. Society has the whole word wrong because their version of femininity is all about this woman acting like, hey, I don't need no man. I'm good. I don't need no man. Do you not need a man, or you just not need a man who treat you bad? Which one? That's the thing.
Yes.
Come on now.
That's the thing.
Come on now.
So the thing about it is, it's not a man if you don't need a man. We're designed. We're women. We're women. I will never forget this. When Pastor said, "Women are receivers, men are givers." So when a man open the door for you, even for a stranger, you're a woman. You're like, "Oh, thank you so much." You smile and go your way because, oh, he just made my day. Thank you so much for opening the door. As a man doing that now, that's what he's giving you something. And the thing about it is, again, as in our society today, it's, and I can speak from that 100% because one, as just like Connie, I'm a single mom with two boys now, 12 and 15. So you've been there, done that. So at the end of the day, being independent and being a head of household, guess what? A man steps in, I'm gonna step aside because at the end of the day, sir, here's your role. As a woman raising boys, you best believe we're walking up the stairs. Okay, sir, you know the drill. I'm walking up the stairs, you're behind me. We're heading to work, if I'm going down the stairs, you're in front of me, I'm behind you. When we're going to work, sir, I'm standing at the door and my sons are opening the door for me. Because that's my role. I have to teach them what it is and what it looks like. Because society is not going to teach them because it's modern foolishness. No, they're not going to. And that's why society is messed up. Because it's not just.
Real quick
It
question.
starts from the home.
Yeah,
It starts from the. Oh, sorry.
allow me to interrupt you, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Have you taught your sons what they should expect from women?
Have I taught them what they should expect from women?
Yes.
Yes. And I'm at the place now where, like I mentioned, I have a 15-year-old who is now at the place where he's asking the right questions. Thankfully, he's asking the right questions to me, but he's asking the right questions. And I have to respond wholeheartedly, not just tell him what I want him to hear, but tell him what is in society, what is real, and what is not. And so, just like you're saying, what is his expectation from women? Yes. And so, as we speak, we just had this conversation today, actually. We're having these conversations because he'll ask me the questions like, Mom, am I supposed to be texting first? Oh, Mom. And he's 15. So guess what? Do I want my son to date? No. But guess what? We're in a society where, hey, whether or not you want it to happen, they have eyes. They're there. The urges are there, Mama. Sorry. It is what it is. So guess what? I'm going to guide him. And I'm in this position where I need to guide him so I can say, that's off limits. This is what we're not going to do. That's okay. Oh, this is what she said. Well, okay. Here's what she's really thinking. Oh, this is your role in this position right now. And so I have to guide him. That's my role right now, is to guide him so he understands what does it look like from a feminine point of view? What does it look like from your point of view? Because what you want to do is make sure that you're showing up where your masculinity, yes, as a man, you're playing your role, but then when you do certain things and when you act a certain way, you're helping the woman because she becomes, again, like I said earlier, she's resting in that because she's like, I don't have to come up here like Connie said. I'm like, oh, I know I got to do this. No, you don't have to muscle up and do anything. And it's not about being physical. As in, you don't have to get defensive. Every single thing you turn around, you're automatically your armor up, you're defensive. Sir, no, I don't want you to do that. Well, why are you getting it? No, you don't have to act that way Because he got you, and he's showing you that he's covering you. He's showing you that. So when you can see it, and when you can experience it again from the origin, regardless of what it is, from day one, that was how we're designed. And if we don't do that, that's what's happening in society. It's not just about the relationship between man and woman anymore. It's leading to other things, because the whole society is messed up because we're not doing the original. We're deviating from the original. We're deviating from that.
Can I chime in here a little bit? Yeah.
That's it.
Christian,
yes, go ahead, Mikey.
Christian, I enjoy your conversation. I was saying that earlier, that women are responsible for teaching other women and children, which include the boys and the girls. You explained that very eloquently, precisely, without any flaw. Without a man present, you know what is expected from a man because you are a woman by being who you are. You know. It's impossible for your son not to know if you know already. And so and that's why you are so easy to teach him. I'm not saying that there are not men around that needs him for him. So send him out in the fields with the men now to go to battle. Go to teach him how to fight. Send him with the other men in the community now. You are the mother. Send him with the men to go to hunt. Let him go. Let the men teach him now how to hunt. But what we have done, we have broken down the society with this, taking away the community of the family around, and so we have fragmented the entire organization of the family. And now we are standing by our lonesome self, being independent by ourselves, failing as we go along. Right? I would say this, and I'll interject this because this is where we're going. As persons who believe, and anybody who believe in Christ, in the church, and I'm going to go into this perspective. This is for the regular and general people of the world who don't understand anything about Christianity. It's all right for them to operate in that nonsensical belief system. It's fine. Nothing is wrong with it. It is okay, because that's guided by the devil and everybody else. But if you see that happening in the church, if you see that within your church, where when you talk about the priest, of the home, when my woman is asked, my wife is going to be asked to be an elder, you're not only asking her to be an elder, you're disrespecting me first to tell her that she's the man in my house.
Oh, come on now, Mikey.
Right? You're disrespecting me. So I said, here's where I go. Here's where I go. And I'm saying this. Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going to go. Here's where I'm going to go. Here's where I'm going to go. Here's where I'm going to go.
Can I please say to Mikey that delegates for GC have already left. You should probably have gone on to make that summation up there. You are a little too late.
Listen, nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong.
Delegates have already left.
No, Kirk, nothing is wrong. What you must see, is the devil at play.
I know.
No, listen. You must see the devil at play. For you as somebody who understands spirituality, you must be able to identify the devil's hand and his handiwork. And if you're seeing it being perpetrated and those who are involved in it, then you know who they are working for and who they are working with. You don't have to worry about these things. And you shouldn't be caught into anything with that. But I'm saying, here is where I'm going. If I go and see my son sees my wife as my elder, then he's confused now. Because I'm no longer priest. So we're having a problem.
Can someone please contact Pastor Harry?
No. Hold on. Please. No, that's not what we're saying. No, that's not what. Hold on. All I'm saying, Kurt. All I'm saying.
And then we have established that it is not dead, it is actually in a coma
on life support.
On life support. And we're going to take a break. But my question to you, everybody, is how do we fix it? All right? How do we revive it? You know that other word I was about to say, but I don't want. You understand? Because that one. Yes. So how do we? Right? There you go. revive it, because it would all be in vain if we're having this conversation and do not talk about how it can be revived.
All right.
Right?
Question
And
Nikki.
before we go on that break, we do have some comments. And when we get back, Ellie, we will start with you because we haven't heard from you. Sir Edgar is here and in the chat, and he says one of the. Go ahead. Help me. I'm not wearing my glasses, you see. So,
Oh.
yes.
Okay. So I'm starting from bottom or what me ask that?
Yes.
So, well, he says one of the things killing chivalry is the marrying of the world and the church that has led to the demising role of the father husband in the church and society. Totally agree. Arlene J.M. says some women don't want men to make them feel weak. I don't see this as being weak, neither do I. Inspiration came and says a mother can encourage her son in that direction. What happens if the dad is absent from the home? And I think we kind of touched on that with Tasty's answer. Arlene says modern discussions sometimes critique that chivalry is outdated or patronizing, depending on context. And these discussions most times involve females again on the feminist trend, right? Inspiration says training before he becomes a man. So true. And she says, so true, Mikey. So you know, whatever Mikey said, inspiration is agreeing. Right? The reality is, however, that when we come back, we'll take a look. The fact is, chivalry means honorable and polite way of behaving, especially by men, again, towards women. And I was cultured to believe that this act is to be done by men.
All right. There we have it. So when we return, starting with Lady Ellie, how do we revive chivalry? And we'll be right back. Now I know that, listen, I see you're online and you're not clicking the like button.
Subscribe.
Click it.
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah, by the way, it's free. Yes.
Stop it.
No. So chivalry towards your phone. I'm share.
We'll be right back. Okay. All right? Yeah.
This is Flash Talk, the uncut edition. Say it just how you feel it.
No filters, no fluff, just real talk with the full Flashpoint fam. Get with it.
From hot takes to belly laughs, the crew is locked in and ready.
From debates that might get a little spicy, including all VIP members.
This is where vibes meets voice, drops meets truth, and we talk crazy.
We are here to get real.
It's raw, it's real, and it's about time.
Small island, but big conversations.
This is Flash Talks, the uncut edition. Flash Farm. What are the things there now?
Real people, real voices, real conversations.
Flash Talk, the Uncut edition, at 7 p.m. every Thursday, right here on Flashpoint.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Flash Talk, the Uncut edition. And tonight we're exploring the topic. Chivalry, is it dead? And if it is, who killed it? We have established that it's not dead, but it is actually in a coma. And we're at the segment, we're winding down we're at the segment where we would like to explore how to revive it. If it is not dead and in a coma, there is still a possibility for it to be revived. Because let me tell you, as much, and Tastian alluded to that, as much as a woman may pretend that they do not need men, I think some of them say that because of the disappointments they have had. So that's a defense mechanism to say, hey, I don't need a man. But what we do, we actually do, and I think I can speak on behalf of every woman sitting here and online as well, that we do need our men. We do need them to show up for us. I enjoy, well, you see, when I go places, like a lot of women will say they do not experience chivalry. For me, I normally wait. I go to a door automatically, I wait, and a gentleman will come and open the door automatically. And that's just in my nature to wait to go inside. So Kirk, I don't know if that's just because I'm a woman.
Was that what is I hear you saying about expectations again? Anyhow, go on ahead. Carry on, folks.
But I must say that the gentlemen seem quite okay. They do not look like they're being forced to actually do that. I can remember once I did wait and a gentleman walked in, and so I guess I was too presumptuous. I was walking in as well, and he released the door and it caught me in the forehead.
Okay.
Okay, I need to understand that not every man is going to. Oh, it's Paul. Mario said he's across.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That part, yeah.
It's not.
I mean,
That's right.
I'm been
Yeah, Johnny, the mic, please.
and I just made it very loud and said, "Wow, thank you for being a gentleman." Because
Exactly. Yeah. And even
goes
not
without
only am
saying.
I a school counselor, but I'm a life skills teacher as well. And if we're going from one room to the next, I will always say, as young as year one, I will always see ladies in the front. And notice my choice of words. I'm not saying girls, even though they're young, but we are practicing how to be a lady, right? And I'll say ladies in front, gentlemen at the back. And initially, when I started doing this, some of the boys were like, Miss, why girl never sit at front? Why can't we be at the front as well? And so I was able to use that to have conversations with them, right? They're just being a gentleman. And of course, some of the girls would be like, I don't care, let them go, right? I've seen young men open the door for some of the young ladies at school. And the girls would be like, I don't want you to open the door for me, I can open it myself. And again, I have to
Where do
use.
they learn?
Exactly. It's a training. And lack thereof.
Amen.
Right? So I now use that opportunity to have the conversation with young ladies, right? And again, we're asking the question tonight, how can we revive? And I think the truth is, all of us can say it starts with me, right? And I am going to start with Ellie. And because we are wrapping up, each person, I would like to hear everybody's opinion on this. Like, personally, how can you revive it if you weren't already doing it? And Kirk asked a pertinent question. Are we only expecting men to show chivalry, or is this expected of women as well? And if it is, how do we show up, right? Starting with Ellie.
Okay, so I must start by making a confession um, that I have been the recipient of chivalry. I will say the discussion started one evening when we were in studio moving stuff. And I don't know if you remember, Lady Nicola. I just got up and I was moving, even though Mario was in action mode. Felt it necessary, even when he was coming, to be lifting stuff. And so the men at
He was
Flashpoint,
upset.
yes, and Edgar would say in this voice, "I am here. I am here." And so I will say, even though I mentioned that the majority of persons, some men expect you to open the door for them. They wait for you to
Yes.
open and they
Yeah.
will tell you thank you.
That's true. I've experienced that.
Right? So, and on that note, I have also received it from my children. I now know that I should pause. They come and they open the door for me. Mommy, they open the door and they wait for me to be seated. That's just standard operating procedure. And that has been taught to them by their dad. So you ask what is the solution? One step at a time. We teach the generations. We have to be deliberate in the what we teach our children so that they can also. And on another note, my mom, their grandmother would say, "Me don't want no woman walk over them, you know." So the point is, you can extend yourself, and then at the end of the day, what are the results of it? How do you expect the men? So it's a lifelong educational process, because we have just touched the tip of the iceberg. There are so many things that are intertwined in this conversation. So I say one step at a time. Camps like we usually have at church, where we have banquets where the boys are taught and the girls are taught how to respond. This doesn't mean that it's a romantic relationship. It's a decent relationship. It's how we should treat each other, men and women, boys and girls. I treat you with respect, and also I expect respect in return. And of course, also, when we see these actions, make note, congratulate them, encourage, and those are my three little solutions that I think will help resurrect chivalry.
Thank you, Lady Ellie. Edgar.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chivalry is dying, and the church is helping to kill it. One of the best ways we can help to revive it is to transform or change our thinking on many levels, many different levels. One has to do with this whole notion of singleness. Yes. We need to be reminded that singleness is a choice. We need to be reminded that we were born single. All married couples decided to be married. And whilst the church can do more, the church has done sufficiently to encourage us to live a Christ-like life. So we cannot blame the lack of care for single ministry. The ideal is family without knocking anybody. That's the ideal that was created in Eden, and that's the ideal for a well-ordered society. For men, we need to remember to demonstrate chivalry, whether it is accepted or rejected. We should give without expecting anything in return. And then we need to call out. We need to speak up. We don't know if this matter is going to be discussed at the General Conference session. The whole notion of women ordination should have been discussed in churches here. And today it has not been discussed. We have had presentations on the matter.
without a discussion. We need not be fearful of voicing the biblical positions.
Mm-hmm.
We have to call out what needs to be called out.
Mm-hmm.
We have to teach our sons the rightful place. And we need to teach them to the expectations of women and ladies. And there is a distinction.
And their place.
Thank you.
Oh, we were waiting for more. What's wrong with you? You always left something here. When we in anything, you either. Oh.
But you know, Edgar, thank you.
Can we stop him from coming on?
No, sir. We need Edgar. But you know, I'm now questioning, is it possible to be godly and not practice chivalry?
You can't.
Me.
Can't be done. Listen, here's the reality. It's look here. Somebody can come to me and say I am a Christian murderer.
Exactly.
It just goes
godly. The word that the form of godliness condemn of the form of godliness.
If you are Christ-like, godly, Christian, then you are going to behave according to Christ's mandates.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can take it or leave it if you don't like it. Because sometimes we tend to keep stuff. Oh, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves everybody. But here's the reality. He also have guidelines to the way we ought to behave. And if you don't, it's just one or the other. He's not forcing you. Here is a choice. You choose to be that, you choose to follow him, and you're friends with God. If not, then you're enmity with God. When he comes back, if you're not his friend, you won't be with him. So you take the alternative. And that's it. Bottom line done.
Kirk.
Yes, please. I was with Edgar. I was on the road with him, and he took a hard left turn and left me all by myself.
You know,
Hard left turn and left me all by myself.
And that's you're not you.
Let me try to distill it as we're beginning to wrap up. I cannot enforce chivalry. I cannot be chivalrous to somebody who doesn't want it.
No.
You know that is called Me Too.
No, hell no.
I will find myself before the courts.
No.
And men today need to be extremely particular with how we deal with women, because the slightest accusation, especially in the court of a public opinion, is a guilty verdict. We need to, and that needs to be drilled into the heads of young men. What I could do, what my father could do, you cannot do. You will find yourself before the law courts. We need to be very, very careful when we are teaching men this. If a woman doesn't want something, don't do it. That's one. Two, this is where I was with him 150%. We need to stop telling people that singleness is what is the condition that you should try your best to maintain. Stop telling young people and young women in particular that the most important thing in life is getting a job, getting a degree, getting a house, and getting a car. I experienced, my wife and I were going into a supermarket, cost you less, just at the height of COVID. This is just when the fear was gripping everybody. This lady drove up in her car with her two young children. Both they were in rear-facing seats, so you know how young these children were. Everybody is fearful. In my wife's position, she is a child protection officer. By law, she is expected to report any cases of suspected child abuse. The lady got out of her car, left the two children in the car with the car running, and went into the supermarket. When we went in, I said to her, "Mom, no, I can't remember who went in. If it was I think my wife went in. I stayed, chivalry again, right? I stayed to look after my son, and because this lady had made the dumbest decision ever, I stayed to watch those two children. The lady said she is fearful that her children will get COVID. So the better choice for her is to leave her two children in a car with the engine running. We do not have these situations if we teach people to prioritize family. Families break up, that much we understand. But the status quo of the status quo now is single parent families. We expect single parent families more so than we expect intact father mother children in the house. And if you have built a society telling women, I don't need no man, I can do bad all by myself. If you have told them and they have imbibed, this is two very important things because everything that's taught we don't imbibe. So the choice to imbibe is theirs. We were taught and we chose to imbibe. I don't need a man. But then something like COVID comes around, and everybody is fearful. And I didn't see the need for a man before. Let me see if I can wrap this up very quickly in 90 seconds. I was doing some research on the amount of female pastors in Ukraine. This is female Adventist pastors in Ukraine. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. But what I did find was an article from 2019 on Adventist.org dealing with women's empowerment. That's it. Women's empowerment. And then I realized that after 2021, when Russia invaded Ukraine, there was no more talk of women's empowerment. Women remembered right away, my role is man lead. I get on the train, the plane, the bus, the car, the everything. I hightail it out of Dodge. It's your responsibility to take on the pressure. When the AC is on, I don't need no man. So to my friend, Sister Janine, I want you to know that Sister Janine has it. Sister Janine's smile never leaves her face. I've never seen it off on her face. She's always bright and sunny and shining. I don't know if that young man is married. But just like how a Proverbs 31 woman is rare to find, good people in general, men and women are rare to find. If you have his phone number, I will after the session this evening, I would encourage you to give him a call.
Me a
and,
because I need them.
Yeah. I mean, look, I just think chivalry. This is one of my last contribution on this. Chivalry, I believe, as I agree with Mario what he said in the very beginning, is actions men take toward people under their jurisdiction. It is not expected. It should not be expected of a man to be given to a woman outside of his jurisdiction. Is it nice to be kind and everything else? Of course. But we have built a society on the expectations of men taking on service roles without responsibility and authority. If you are not under my authority, you do not expect me to be chivalrous to you. You are either under your father's protection, your own protection, or the protection of your husband. If you've left your father's house and you have not married, expect nothing from me. That is the choice that you have made. Church people, start telling the women to prioritize a man from early, not at 45. Men don't rush to marry women at 45 years old.
Hey.
Women rush to marry 45-year-old men. Men don't rush to marry 45-year-old women.
Brother with Mikey G. Can you unlock her? Thank you. Go ahead, Kerr.
The prime years of your life are the times when you are to wear a smile like Janine's own, be nice and fit and everything. Again, I highlighting Janine. You got to try and try.
me smile tonight.
Your smile is what? 40 something years old? Sorry. Sorry,
Don't
Connie.
worry, Christian, because we're about 30.
What I'm saying is make that a priority. We're speaking today about chivalry. The counter to chivalry is femininity. Femininity is not optional. You don't turn on and turn off femininity. That's how I don't turn on and turn off masculinity. So the idea that you will be feminine if I do something is just as ridiculous as me saying I will be masculine if you are feminine. It doesn't work. You come with good faith as a woman. I come with good faith as a man, and we work this thing out as quickly as possible. I talk a lot. I don't know.
Thank you, Kerr. Janine.
Wow. Why did you have to let me talk after I have nothing against you, don't worry. But to be honest, I kind of somewhat agree with him, and I guess that's where I come from in terms of whether or not I accept anything from a man. I am of the opinion that I am either under my father's protection or my husband's protection. I'm not saying that if I'm walking on the street or anything like that, Mario can do me a favor and everything like that. But to be honest, I don't necessarily expect him to. If he wants to be that person and say, hey, you're walking on the street, I'm walking on the street, and because we're walking in the same direction, ma'am, can you please go on the inner side of me? And if he wants to do that, then fine, no problem. If we get to the door, ma'am, I'm going to open the door for you. He opens the door for me and allows me to go through. Why, thank you, sir. And I don't think anything is wrong, but I do think that, yes, the society has allowed for us to warp certain things. And this is a point that I wanted to make as well. There is a lot of, there is this thing called jealousy as well, that I think that too in and of itself has something to do with how it is that us as men and women operate. Because if Mario and I are together and we go to the door, Mario opens the door and I come through, but then there's a female behind or whatever, and Mario keeps the door open for her. Some of us female will probably think that, hey, he's looking this other woman. And, might say like, why do you have to do this? And these are little things that will, like, I believe is what really gets people to start saying, okay, I want to do this, or, they decide to, okay, I have to, yeah, it's a Me Too kind of a thing.
Yes.
And I also want to say, like, give another experience. I experienced this as a child. I remember in prep school, it was one of my male coaches, or PE coach, and he was always fascinated with me, my sister, and my brother. He just thought that we came from a nice little family, and we were always well mannered kids and all. And he saw me one day and he says, you know what? I'm going to buy you lunch. And he said, go and get something to eat. Just go to the canteen, tell them what it is that you want, and get something to eat. And I went to the canteen. I took what it is that I wanted. In my head as well, I'm saying, I don't know how much money this person has. I am going to be considerate. And went and got something. I got a small lunch and a juice. And I went back up to him and I said, this is what I took. And one of the female teachers looked on me and said to me, are you crazy, child? Why you never take something more expensive? The man decided to, basically shower you, and why you never take something expensive? And I'm like, I looked on her in my head. I was just like, why would I need to put him in such a position? I don't think, as whether or not I am a child or not, I don't think I need to basically subject a man to that. And I thought I was being fairly reasonable, and I took what it is that I would want as well. And even if it is that I was to go and choose something more expensive or whatever it is, I don't think that I needed to be gluttonous to choose the more expensive thing. So for me, yes, yeah, common courtesy. I really think it all comes down to consideration at times, and how it is that I would want to be treated, and how it is that I would expect Mario or somebody else to be treated. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want to subject Mario to him having to do or always do. Like I said, if you're not my father, you're not my husband. I don't really expect anything. And that's where I would come from. So I guess that's where that's why my thinking is the way that it is. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
And you're within your right. If that's how you feel, you are well within your right to feel that way. Right? Michael.
Thank you. Janine said I was hoping that Mario would go first, but anyway. And I'm listening. I wanted to hear from Tasty. Yeah, Tasty. I'm just dying. She just bursting with a lot of questions and answers right there. Is that true? I'm thinking she needs to join me for tomorrow morning's experience. I'm definitely telling you. All right, so Chivalry, we're talking about Chivalry being dead. I'm going to say this quickly, and I'm not going to take very long. I hope for that. I have a whole list of things to start with me write down things. All right, so fine. So Chivalry, I believe, and this is where I stand, where it is not for any particular woman. And I understand where we have to be now categorizing the whole thing as the ones under our protection versus the ones that are not under our protection. And this is where we have to be very careful with that. Now, we have to be now deciding who should get it, right? But I grew up in a time when a man would take off his hat in the presence of a woman and all of that. Without she or she's anybody. She's just another woman who turns up and he just does it without thinking about it. He opens the door without knowing her or anything at all. Nothing. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be a woman, and all of these will come out for you. All of this will happen. You don't have to do anything. You take off your shirt, lay it on the ground, you walk in the mud over it, and you're gone. And it's normal. Every man would do it. You don't have to tell this one, and you don't have to. If there's a man who don't do it, it's because of something. Maybe he's like that coach. Yeah, and that's not normal for men not to. It wasn't normal for men not to do it at that time, but now it is not normal for men to do it. And I'm not going to blame the men at all at this point. I'm going to go to the criminal called feminism. Feminism, while it is something that is, I would believe it is right up to a point where women needed some amount of attention for some things to change in regards to women. I think the lesbian group pushed it a little further. If you watch all the action movies now, all the women are action heroes and they are protecting the men and they are fighting the men. You never see them fighting a woman. And so they now can't have a man for a wife, for a husband, but you have a woman for a wife. That kind of thing. That's what you're seeing now. It's a big thing. If you watch the last movie with Snow White or one of those movies, not Snow White, the other one, what's her name? The one that don't want any man. She can fight her own battle now. What's that one?
Frozen.
No, not Frozen, not Frozen. The one that was before that you have Snow White and you have the other one.
Yeah, I think Solomon calls it vanity of vanities. All is vanity.
All right, so let's go with this one. I heard a name come out and I just wrote it down quickly. I heard the word women's empowerment, and I heard that word in a group called Women's Ministry, as it says, women's empowerment. I heard that concept comes out in it, and that women's empowerment has already produced so many men. So many elders and pastors already, which means when you're selecting elders and pastors, only men should be in the room for the selection. How did a bunch of women in skirts get in there? I don't understand that. But this is where we are. So women's empowerment has already produced a whole lot of women who are now men, because you cannot say they are not, because they're operating in that capacity as a man. Which the only place I see that is in transgender, when we started talking about a woman can be man and a man can be woman. That's the only place I saw it. And that's referencing in Stardom, right? I don't know it anywhere else. And I'm serious about this thing, you know. It's not a simple thing. Because it's impossible for you having your wife and she's now your elder and know who is running the home. Because as the Bible's definition is, you must be a husband of one wife. How many wives should those female elders have? They should only have one wife? Is the husband the wife now? These are the questions that are not answered, you know. And so by not answering those, I'm leaving that on the table. We can answer them another time. So we looked at Janine's situation where she was picked up by the gentleman who was supposed to be in jail for assaulting her, because just touching her alone was supposed to land him in jail for jail time. All right, so, and I'm moving on quickly. I did choose elders already. And of course, women's, where we talk about the women who actually are choosing careers over marriage. And if a woman stands up and say, I want to be a wife, and when everybody's saying, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, and all that, I'm not saying you must have your career. I'm not saying none of that. I'm saying we have not taught women how to be wives. We are teaching them how to be more like the men who will not be outdated, because if you know anything about the other man, if you know anything about the story of Abraham and Sarah, you know that it wasn't Abraham's situation why Sarah wouldn't get pregnant. Because when he tried it on the next girl, she got pregnant the same night. So you know that he was shooting at when? 198? He was still good. So the eggs of a woman is deteriorating. And so
really, Mikey G?
I'm wrapping up. Let me wrap up. And so the women's eggs are deteriorating. So we have to train our women or young ladies how to be wives, because there's a limiting time on that. We're not saying not get your career, but then teach them how to integrate the career with the marriage situation because of the new dispensation that we are living in. All right. So that's what I would like to say. So we are all for women's. I love my women who are doctors and lawyers and all that. I do not mind. I really appreciate them. Teachers, wonderful. But please, don't tell them that must choose the husband after 35, because your eggs are already soon gone and you're in critical care. All right, last but not least, there was a big women's conference at held lately. And you know what happened when Women's Day, when Mother's Day came up, I remember the men went out and they did a whole of a thing and they celebrated the women and they brought flowers, roses, everything. And when it was time to celebrate the men, the women, the feminist group, the women actually made a conference. Hold on, I'm just, the words are mixed. Hold on, the words are mixing up. Come on, guys, come on, please. And so they made a conference, a women's conference on a Father's Day, when they should be celebrating a Father's Day weekend celebration with the men. And this was a situation. Now, for that, I say, here is where I'm going to go. Men, where would I want to stop this now?
So my question
Men need to step up. Is the last thing. And I'm finishing now. Men need to step up. I have the last one on my notepad. Men need to step up. All right. And that means if you don't step up fast enough, I'm going to step on you and over you and you're gone. That by itself tells you that something has gone wrong. No, this is not gone wrong anywhere else outside, you know. This is going on wrong within the confines of the place that needed to revive the concept of what right and wrong looks like, what feminism looks like, what masculinity looks like, and what an order of God's principles should look like. That's where it's gone wrong. Not outside where the devil and the enemy have all the rampant and all these people doing it. It's fine for them. But it can't be okay for the feminist movement to be very active within God's church.
My question to you, Michael, is,
yes,
as a gentleman, how can you help? What have you been doing to revive?
Well, what I've been doing so far is this: is to tell our men not to continue with this, not to meet this with zero tolerance. Don't do it because it is decided of you. I'm saying that we know have to look if you have the man who you open the door for, the woman who you open the door for really wears just the regular parts that a woman have. You don't know because you can't lift up the dress to see, right? And so we are not worried that we don't want to open the door for a man, right? It's troubling, you know. It's a hard thing. Anyways, so what I'm saying for the gentlemen now, I am simply saying for us as men, I would love I would love for us to just get back to basics, start teaching our people that men are men, women are women, and these are the things that are expected. No, this don't mean subservient, because the Proverbs 31 woman is a woman who is an entrepreneur. She buys land, she plants field, she employs people, and the money that she works, she brings it home, and the husband is the head of her house. So she not own the money and say she work more. None of that. That is rubbish argument in the principle of how it works. When that money come in, the husband owns that money as well. So you just have to see that as at play, and it don't mean she's under him or anything. They are one in principle. Not this, but this. So if it's behind or in front, you want to put it, it's fine. But this is what it looks like. And that unit will move as one, and everything achieved as one, and they will build as one, and everything will be in harmony. You cannot beat that, right? And so that's where I'm standing right now. The cohesion of the women and the men linking together, respecting each other. Don't disrespect me by thinking that you now need to come to tell me. You know how I feel to see the man come to me and tell me how I'm going to tell my wife to be elder. And I say, listen, brother, listen, you don't want me, I have no problem, you know. And that's all I have to say. You're disrespecting me. You're not doing anything else. You're only disrespecting me and my house. That is what you're trying to do. And you can't do that. Because if you come any further, you and me going to have a big problem, and you don't want me as a problem. You understand?
Ladies and gentlemen, the uncut edition, isn't it? All right. And then we turn over to Cynthia.
Over to me. Okay. All right. So I listened to you, Mikey. You hit quite a bit of points there. Good job. And I said that good job meaning like I see where you're going and I understand it from your perspective. There's some things I'm going to leave alone because this woman in church and all this, I'm going to leave that part alone. Leave that part alone. But one of the things that, for me personally, one of the things I always say if I do meet a gentleman, I always say, listen, let me tell you something. I'm weird. Okay? I'm just letting you know I'm weird. You know why I'm weird? Because I'm not like this new movement that everybody has. It's that for me, it's back to basics. So I'm going to be the type of person I'm going to walk up to the car door. I'm going to stand there. I'm sorry. So you're going to know you need to open that door because you just asked me, how are you going to revive chivalry? Well, guess what? It starts with me. I have to make sure that I stand up on what I need and what my standards are. And I'm sorry, if you are a man of God, first of all, I'm going to have to submit to my husband. And I'm 100%, I'm the type of woman who will tell you 100%. I am here to submit to my husband, but I will not submit to a man who is not submitted to God. So, sir, if you are a godly man, I don't have to ask you to do certain things. Certain things are just, it's kindness. It's respect. It's the honor. It's you again covering me. Sir, if you are not doing that, why am I submitting to you? I'm sorry. You see, when students walk into my office, and students will come in my office walking, I need, excuse me, back up. Go back to the door. You're going to walk right in. You're going to say good morning, and then you ask what you need. And they do the same thing. Now, when they come to my office, they know already. Oh, good morning, Miss James. You know, because I'm not going to accept certain things. So it's the same thing. When it comes to chivalry, I'm so sorry. This is what I'm expecting. But guess what? While I'm expecting it, I'm not standing on, women's empowerment, I'm entitled to it. Or what? No. If I'm going to be a Proverbs 31 woman, like Michael mentioned earlier, guess what? It means that regardless of if I'm making $1 million and you're making $100, it doesn't matter. I have to submit to you. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter. Because guess what? At the end of the day, as a Proverbs 31 woman, just like you mentioned, we're doing all the things. And this woman empowerment foolishness that everybody's talking about, what does it mean? Because we're doing all the things. The Proverbs 31 woman was doing all the things. But guess what? She was bringing honor to her husband. She was at her home being a wife and a good one. So to me, it's again, this whole woman empowerment where we feel like, again, back to it. I don't need a man. I'm better than you. I'm above you. I'm this. I'm making more money than you. Stop with all that. You are to submit to your husband. And we're submitting to each other, 100%. But you're to submit to a husband. And if you're submitting to a husband, you should have no issue submitting to a man who's submitted to God. Because if he's godly, like Connie mentioned, I shouldn't be begging for chivalry. Again, we're not perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying there's certain tendencies that is supposed to come to you as you're growing in Christ and you're demonstrating his character. You're showing me because remember you're my person. Remember, you're head of my house. You're head of me. So if you're not demonstrating Christ to me, then you're not the head of me. I'm sorry. So that's where my brain is right now. It's a matter of we have to get back to basics. And that's why I say I'm weird. I'm sorry, I'm weird because I'm not grabbing onto this feminism foolishness. I'm not grabbing onto this woman empowerment movement foolishness. No. And I can 100% tell you I'm an independent woman. But that's not what it is. At the end of the day, I cannot be a man to my boys, regardless of what I'm doing. I cannot, because that's not my role. That's not who God designed me to be. So we need to get back to basics. And we need to also make sure, women, please, out there, when men show you chivalry, appreciate it. It's okay to say thank you. It's okay to open up and be just appreciate it. Because sometimes that's why men stop, because they're like, oh, why you open the door for me, sir? Well, why you paying for this? And we get aggressive instead of being just stay in your role again and appreciate it and let them know, listen, thank you so much for being a great husband. Thank you so much for opening the door. Thank you so much for doing these things. Because when people do bad things, we tell them, right? So when they do good things, we didn't tell them to. Hey, you're doing this really, really good. That makes the man feel like a hero. He feels like you want like, yeah. Then guess what? He's gonna do more. And that's all it doesn't have to be crazy. It's just plain and simple. Get back to who we are. It's not chivalry needs to start with us. If we don't put our foot down and say this is what I'm expecting, but at the same time while I'm expecting it, I'm also making sure that I'm standing in my role. I'm making sure that, sir, I'm giving you the honor you deserve. I'm giving you the respect you deserve. I make $100,000, you make 20,000. You're still my husband. I'm still honoring you. You're still the head of my household. Until we get back to that place, chivalry gonna stay in that coma for another couple of years. So we just need to start with us and teach our children and this generation. I tell my children, stand on your own 2 feet. If it means you're the only one in your school who's doing this is truth. This is the right thing to do. And there are going to be times when you're standing on your own 2 feet. But as long as you do this, God is going to honor you. That's the most important thing. You don't need to see it. You don't need to experiment, nothing. You're going to see it. People around you are going to show you because you're going to see the consequences of no chivalry. You're going to see it in society. So that's all we got to do.
I want to lean into this for just a second, where she talks about, well, just let me lean in 1 second. When you talked about the submission issue, submission is before you're married, that kind of thing. That man that you're married to, this is where I find the problem, that women marry men, and after marrying the man, she no longer wants to submit to him, and she has to submit to him before marriage, right? And this is where the problem lies. And then she starts to say, you're not a godly man, you're not going to lead me. Now, Corinthians 1 Corinthians 11 will tell you that this system of thinking must only operate one way. And if this man who you're marrying and he can't be your head, then don't marry him. In fact, tell him no. When he asks you, tell him, go away, boy. Don't ask me, you little worthless fella, because you can't lead me, right? So run him away, And so I would say every woman who the man can't lead you, run him away before he marry you, so you don't get disenfranchised. That's what I am saying. And so I believe that is true. If you don't think this man is capable of being that head of house that you think, the second part of that is, by just being a man, nobody can make me that. I am head of house whether I'm weak or not. I didn't touch on the spirit of Jezebel and the spirit of Ahab. When Ahab gets involved, he's going to be weak and Jezebel is going to rule him. Now, I understand that. So, we have these things going on. The spirit, and these spirits are demon spirits, remember. They're everywhere. That's all I have to say. Sorry, guys. Uncut, as you say.
Thank you, Michael.
I think the concept of chivalry is important. It's necessary. And getting it out of the coma, resuscitating it, starts at home. Now, as Tistian said, she teaches her boys how to treat a lady. Need in the household where learning starts.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Learning starts at home.
Yes.
To teach young men how to be young men.
Yes.
We need to teach young ladies how to be ladylike and how to accept when a man is being courteous, chivalrous. One of the things that I think has caused the demise of chivalry is a lot of this Me Too stuff. It started with the feminism where women are jumping up saying, I don't need a man. What are you doing this for? I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. Okay, fine. Eventually, the men are going to start pulling back and saying, okay, I don't want to be rejected every single time. Some men will do it regardless. Some men will pull away. The thing that we need to understand is that we don't want to depart too far from the natural roles, the natural order. This is who we are supposed to be. This is who we were designed to be. Let's keep it there. Um, and in doing so, let's teach our children the proper way, the correct way to go about doing these things. When we start to reinforce, I'm not saying that you don't teach them stuff. As a young boy, my mother taught me how to cook, clean, wash, iron, and all these things because it wasn't necessary. It wasn't mandatory that I was going to get married and have a wife, but I was to be able to take care of myself and be presentable. As a young man, I was at one point going to leave the home and be on my own, right? And in the same breath, if I do find a wife, I am also supposed to be able to take care of her. Now, circumstances may change and she might be sick, I might need to take care of her. I need to know how to do these things. This is still chivalry. This is me being a man and stepping up and saying, hey, I am here to cover you, to protect you, to provide guidance and support. If you are sick today, when my wife had our children, there are things that I had to do because she had a traumatic delivery, right? These are things that we need to teach our young boys, our young men, that these are the ways that you should be responsible for yourself and those around you. All right, so I'm going to try and keep it short, but I'm also going to try and keep it gentle. Not trying to pull any triggers tonight. But one of the problems I think in our society and the society at large, the world over, is I think Kirk touched on it earlier, or was it Edgar? There's a distinction between a lady and a woman, right? Yes? And we need to rein in our young women and we need to let them know that being a lady is not something that is going to demean or diminish them. Yes, you can be smart. Yes, you can be educated. But you can still be a lady, still be a feminine lady, still be a protected and loved and covered lady. Right? Because this is the natural order. Is that right?
There you have it.
At this time, we're going to, I don't think Connie, you have spoken. So Connie will speak and then we will take a short break and we will wrap up. All right. So Connie, over to you, my dear.
Yeah, I think what has gotten us all twisted is the fact that common manners and courtesy, we have labeled. We have labeled the correct behavior as chivalry, and we have placed that umbrella over males. The reality is from beginning, God had Adam to dress the garden. He named the animals and he cared for them. God didn't have to spell it out to Adam that they fall under your care. And even though they are independent of their own, that you couldn't step in to assist. When Adam realized all of what was happening, he realized his predicament that he was. Here we come now, we have a gentler gender, sex to man. And it goes without saying that it should be like breathing, like learning how to walk, that you care for them, whether they are your wives, sister, daughter, mother. And We shouldn't umbrella or label common courtesies. And we talk about reciprocation, and the reality is that a woman as well, and again, we come back to training, that a woman should know how to be. If a man opens the door for you, we ought to be respectful, and the common courtesies of that is to say thank you. And it shouldn't be that I'm expecting the man to open the door for me. It should go without saying. And when he does open the door, it should go without saying that I
Thank you.
reciprocate with my thanks.
Thank you.
When we talk about empowerment, and then again, we label the things, and because we give them titles, we tend to try to box things to give the title a definition. In reality, both men and women need empowerment. I need motivation. Empowerment is a form of motivation. God gives us that. He empowers me every day to know that I have His backing, that I can face the enemy. So, empowerment is not a bad thing. It's just the fact that when we take it out of God's context and we try to humanize it for us to fit, it's like wanting to take God down to suit us instead of us doing what we need to do to reach up to His standards. This is what we're having. Women do need empowerment. Women do have a place in society. We are the educators, irrespective of if I have a title as a teacher. Women must be respected. And this is it because men misconstrued in the beginning their authority God gave to them. They misunderstood. Respect for women went through the window. God Himself was the first feminist. Allow them, the women, to inherit their father's property if they died and so forth. What we call feminism now is not what true feminism is.
Correct.
What we talk about women empowerment is not what real empowerment is.
Right.
I have to be
Correct.
truthful on
Correct.
that.
You're correct.
However, however, the fact of how society has been, me can only talk from a little history before me, in my time, and now, the respect for both parties has dwindled. There is absolutely none.
Amen.
Expect the church to
I have no
to be
respect either.
the keepers of right and wrong, but as Edgar said earlier, that the choice has been given to each person, and we ought to take it on. And then it starts by reviving chivalry. I don't even want to label it chivalry. The reviving of common courtesies that should be given to each other starts by teaching, going back to basics, knowing our place, both male and female, and understanding that. Stacey said something that I want to address it in this, is that if the man is not godly, but I want to differ. Whether he's godly or not, and he's your husband, then you respect him as God outlines because that is the order for
So I
God.
don't want anybody who's not
Doesn't
godly.
mean that you stay.
Thank you,
Doesn't mean
Stacy.
that
Thank you,
you
Stacy.
yourself to abuse or whatever it is. Because remember, you belong to God first before you belong to your husband. And
Correct.
if your husband is not treating you right, he's abusive, all of that. God is not telling you that you have to stay and cohabitate with him. Absolutely not. But you respect him if you're still cohabitating, you respect him still. Otherwise, you don't know how that go, right? But the reality is we need to stop labeling things. We need to start subjecting ourselves first to God and His principle and then everything else falls in line. If you divert from the blueprint of God, then we have the chaos that we have now.
Amen.
Can Nikki, could you allow someone to read First Corinthians 11, 3 and 4? Just quickly.
When we come back,
We'll take a short break and we'll come right back.
Need help to produce your podcast? Flashpoint Media makes it very easy. We can relieve you of the headache by recording your podcast for you. So, take the first step to getting your content to your desired audience. Contact us here at Flashpoint and your podcast will be live in no time. Our website is www.flashpointmedia.ky or call us at 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final segment of Flash Talk, the Uncut edition. Where did the time go? What a topic it was tonight. And I do see the wrecking train on. I've been seeing the comments. And he was saying, how do we celebrate the independent woman movement while asking men to be chivalrous? Okay. And marriage is very different from chivalry. Manners is very different from chivalry. Manners say if you want to be independent. And he said, if you want to be a lady, then you are able to earn protection of all men around you. This is the natural order. And inspiration came and says, mutual respect, care, and thoughtful actions should go both ways. Indeed. Listen, chivalry might be on life support, and we established that, right? But it's not dead. And I'm so happy that it is not dead. We established that tonight. No, and it's not gonna be dead as long as we carry Christ-like love into how we treat each other. I must say that we need to, how can we revive it? Let us love with honor. Let us lead with humility and protect with purpose. Whether you're a man or a woman, you are called to reflect the heart of Jesus. And Jesus was the most chivalrous man to ever walk on this earth. He served, he protected, and he laid down his life. It doesn't get more chivalrous than that. And if I'm not saying the word correctly, you know what I mean. So, the next time you ask, is chivalry dead? Ask yourself, am I part of the problem or the revival? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I must extend my gratitude to Mr. Kirk Applewhite and to Miss Tastian James for joining us tonight. I also want to thank Lady Ellie and Sir Mikey G. You did an awesome job, phenomenal. You really added that quality to the conversation tonight. And of course, our regular Flash Talk fam who were a part of, I was told not to use the word panel, but you know what I mean, who was in house with me tonight. Thank you guys so much. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that one way we can revive chivalry is to let it start with us. Let it start with us. And love the way, respect the way, protect the way that Christ did. Have yourself a wonderful night. It was Flash Talk, the uncut edition, unfiltered, unapologetic, unstoppable. Have yourself a beautiful night and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
This is Flash Talk, the uncut edition. Say it just how you feel it.
No filters, no fluff, just real talk with the full Flashpoint fam. Get with it.
From hot takes to belly laughs, the crew is locked in and ready.
From debates that might get a little spicy, including all VIP members.
This is where vibes meets voice, jokes meets proof, and we talk crazy.
We are here to get real.
It's raw, it's real, and it's about time.
Small island, but big conversations.
This is Flash Talks, the uncut edition. Flash Farm. What are the things there now?
Real people, real voices, real conversations.
Flash Talk, the Uncut edition, at 7 p.m. every Thursday, right here